In this video, I'm going to walk you through AI employees. I'll cover an overview of what they do, how to hire your first one, and the key settings to know about, and then some best practices and troubleshooting at the end. So we'll just go into more, and then AI employees. So the best way to think about AI employees is that they're not just responding to messages, they're proactively working in the background, checking what's going on in your account and taking action without you having to ask. Most AI tools react, so you send a message, they respond. AI employees are different. They wake up on a schedule, look for things that need doing, and either handle them or flag them for you, depending on how you've set them up. Each one has their own role, their own responsibilities, and their own personality, and there are 11 pre-built templates to choose from, covering everything from guest messaging to maintenance, cleaning coordination, financials, and more. You don't have to use one of these templates. You can also create your own custom employee. So to hire an employee, you can just go to this AI employees section. You can click the Hire an AI Employee button and click Hire. When you hire them, you can optionally adjust how often they wake up. So we call that the heartbeat interval, but I'll come back to that in a moment. Once you hit Hire, they're active and they'll start their first run shortly after. An important thing to know is that the templates just sit there in your account and don't actually do anything until you hire them. They don't use any credits, they're just available when you're ready. So I'll just open up Manny as an example. Now I'll give you an overview of a few settings worth understanding. The heartbeat. So the heartbeat is essentially how often the employee wakes up and looks for things to do. So you can choose for them to wake up every 15 minutes, every hour, or every 24 hours. And you can also switch them to running on a schedule. So they'll run at a specific time each day rather than at a fixed interval. So depending on how often they wake up, this will affect the number of credits they're estimated to use per month. So if you have them waking up every hour, they will likely use more credits than if you have them waking up every 24 hours. And we can see the estimated credits by switching the heartbeat here. So if I switch it to 8 hours, you can see that the estimated credits has gone down. Then we have the confidence threshold. So this works the same way as the messaging confidence threshold. It controls how independently the employee acts. So at the default of 70, they'll handle most things on their own and only pause to ask you when they're less certain. If you want them to check in with you more often, you can raise the confidence threshold. If you want them to act more autonomously, you can lower it. Then we have the level of proactiveness. So you can set how proactive the employee is. You can choose reactive, they only do something when directly asked. Helpful, they handle obvious follow-ups, this is the default. Proactive, they actively scan for issues and opportunities. And persistent, they keep following up until something is resolved. Most people start on helpful and move up from there once they've seen how the employee behaves. So if I scroll down to the bottom of the page, you'll see this triggers section here. So as well as the heartbeat, you can connect employees to specific events in the system. So rather than waiting for their next scheduled wake up, they'll act immediately when something happens, like a new reservation being created, a checkout, a cancellation. You can see all of the options we have for triggers here. And you can, of course, enable and disable individual triggers without having to reconfigure the whole agent, which makes it easy to experiment. So for the next part, I'm going to talk about approvals. So I might use Rex as an example because there are 18 approvals waiting. So if I scroll down to the bottom of Rex's page, you can see here the pending approvals section. For anything that involves a bigger action, sending something externally, creating a recurring task, or anything that has a cost attached, the system will ask your approval before the employee proceeds. So you'll get a notification, you can review what they're proposing and why, and then approve or decline. Now, if you find yourself approving the same thing every time without really thinking about it, you can set up a pre-approval rule. So something like Grace can always create cleaning tasks for this property, and once that rule is in place, it just happens without interrupting you. I'd recommend keeping approval required for anything involving external messages until you've had a chance to see how the employee communicates and you're happy with the tone. So you can see here, if I click on these 3 grey dots, always allow this type or build a conditional rule are options that we have for these approval requests. So now for best practices. One of the most important things to do is watch the audit trail. So you see this recent runs section here. Every action that the agent takes is logged, what they did, why, how many credits it cost, and this is one of the best ways to understand what's working and what to adjust. So if I click on one of these as an example, you'll be able to see the outcome here, what the agent actually did, the cost in credits, the tools that the agent used to complete the task, when the action occurred, and how long it took. So now just for some advice on troubleshooting. If the agent isn't doing anything, you'll want to check whether the heartbeat is enabled and whether they have any triggers set. If both are off, they'll just sit there, they won't take any actions. So if the agent's asking for approval too often, you might want to lower the confidence threshold by about 10 points and see how that changes their behavior. If the agent is acting on things they shouldn't, you might want to raise the confidence threshold or change the level of proactiveness you have set. If you're not sure what the agent's been doing, then the audit trail is your friend. Every run is logged, including the times it decided not to act. It gives you the full picture of what it's been up to. So that's AI employees. The main thing to take away is you should start small, watch the audit trail and build from there. You don't need to have all 11 employees running on day one. And if you've got any questions, the Ask AI feature is right here and it's the quickest way to find answers. And if you'd prefer to talk it through with someone, you can hit the contact button to reach our team directly. Onboarding support is completely free and you can book a call at any time. Thanks for watching and feel free to reach out if you have any questions.